Hello guys, welcome again to our the new session of Pre-Med Pro, and this chapter we are continuing with human physiology, and this chapter is of body fluids and circulation. So in the previous lecture we have completed up to the tissue, the body fluids and the plasma. So in this lecture we will start from the human heart. So I think you have all went through the last lecture and you have all understood the context. So today we will going to start from the human heart. So give a heading of human heart. Human heart. So what do you mean by the human heart? Human heart is an organ, internal vital organ of our body, which is a mesodermal in origin, and the human heart is myogenic. Okay, it lies in the mediastinal gap between the between the two lungs, and its function is to pump the blood to the body. Okay, now from the topic we write origin is myogenic. Myogenic in origin. Okay, size of the human heart. What is the size of the human heart? So, do you know which animal in the earth has the largest heart? It's a blue whale. It is said that the heart of the blue whale is of measurement of Maruti Alto 800. It's like a car. Maruti Alto 800 जैसा ही heart है blue whale का. It has the largest heart among all the animals in this earth. Size of human heart. Human का heart का size कैसा होता है? Like a fist. हमारा fist का size जो है, heart का size वही है. It is tilted slightly towards the left. Here it is situated and it is tilted slightly towards the left side. Okay. So clenched. The medical term is clenched, and we say as the closed fist. बंद मुट्ठी की तरह होता है. ठीक है. लोकेशन ऑफ ह्यूमन हार्ट between the lungs, slightly tilted towards left, slightly tilted towards the left side. So let me draw a heart first. This is a very basic structure. This is the right auricle, left auricle, right ventricle, left ventricle. Okay, now what happens? These are also called as atria. Okay, these are the ventricles. Okay, now the most important part is it has many drawings, so keep some patience. I have to draw, then you can understand. Okay. Now, what is this? What is this blue? this is called the parietal. This is the parietal pericardium. Pericardium. The covering of the heart is called the pericardium. Okay, this is the outer covering. Now drawing with a dark color, this is the visceral pericardium. Visceral pericardium. Pericardium. This is the inner. Here lies the pericardial fluid. Here the pericardial fluid is there. Here it is filled with pericardial fluid. Okay. Here it is of pericardial fluid. Here pericardial fluid. It is pericardial. So what is the function of the pericardial fluid? ये pericardial fluid है क्या, क्यों है? It reduces the friction between the two walls of the heart. Any fluid between the walls of the organ actually there to reduce the friction between the two walls of the organ. Okay. So its function is to between these walls reduces friction. Okay. Now the visceral pericardium, the visceral pericardium, double membrane wall protecting the heart. So visceral pericardium is basically a double membrane wall that protects the heart. Okay. Now this is the green one is the middle or called the myocardium. Most important function is cardiac muscle is made up of myocardium. You know, some diseases are called, some strokes are called acute myocardial infarction. I will, in that case, in ECG, the elevated segment of ST is probably seen. Okay, probably seen, not it's seen that the ST element elevation occurs in acute myocardial infarction. Okay, so the maximum part of the wall, it is called made up of myocardium. And this is the endocardium. It is the inner part. Okay. Now, done. So inner part is called the endocardium, outer part is called the pericardium, and the middle part is called the myocardium. Okay. Now there are septa. Septa is a Latin word. It's called the wall. Septa, wall between the chamber of the heart. Why wall is there? To separate the blood. Okay. Now I am drawing RA, LA, RV, LV. Okay. So these are the these are the walls of the, these are the walls that separates the chamber. These are the wall, this is the wall that separates the chamber. So how the blood comes? If the wall is there, how the blood passes from this chamber to that chamber? So there is a passage of passage which is generally guarded by the valves. Okay. Now here the function of the valves comes. So in the left, between the left auricle and the right auricle, it is called interatrial septa. Between the auricle, it is called the interatrial septa. Thin muscular septa between the atria. Okay, now this is the interventricular septa. Thick muscular, this is because of the thick muscular septa between ventricles. And this is the, what is? This is the atrioventricular septa. Fibrous septa between atria and ventricle. This is thick. Okay. So atria and ventricle के बीच में जो है वो है इंटर atrioventricular septa. Okay. Now I have to draw a human heart. Okay. This will take time. Just see the drawing, then I will explain everything. Okay. This video is going to be a long. Okay. Okay. Now see the drawing, because there is very much understanding substances, understandable materials in this drawing. If you understand this drawing, half of the work is done here. Okay, because at the time of the examination you don't need to draw, you have to draw this in your mind. Okay. Okay, this is the basic structure of the heart. This is the basic structure of a heart. Okay, now I am drawing some fibers. Okay. Here are the valves. Here are some valves. Okay. Now this is the pulmonary. Now this is the pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery, one pair. Pulmonary artery, what the pulmonary artery takes? The pulmonary artery takes the deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. Okay. Complete? Yeah. This is the pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein. It carries oxygenated blood. Okay, it is two pair. This is called the aortic semilunar valve or SI valve. These are out of NCERT, but question may come. Okay. This is the bicuspid valve or the mitral valve. This is bicuspid. Another name is mitral valve. Okay, now these are the papillary muscle. These are the papillary muscle. Okay. These are the papillary muscle present in the ventricular walls. Arterial walls doesn't have any papillary muscle. Okay, so I am writing present only in ventricle wall. Now these are the chordae tendineae. Chordae tendineae. Okay, so chordae tendineae. What is chordae tendineae? It is fibrous structure attached to papillary muscle on side and AV valve to the other side. एक साइड में वो पैपिलरी मसल के साथ अटैचमेंट है और दूसरी साइड पे एबी वाल्व के साथ अटैचमेंट होता है. ठीक है. And what is the function of the Corti tendon? It regulates the AV valve. Okay, now this is the pulmonary SI valve. This is the pulmonary SI valve. Okay, so here it comes the tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve. This is the inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava. Okay. IVC. This is called the coronary sinus. Let it draw here. It is called the coronary sinus. Okay. Now this is the aorta. Okay. Superior vena cava. Okay. This is the basic structure of the human heart. Okay. Now you can say it, the basic structure of heart. Okay. This is the basic structure of the heart. Now come to the next part. So take a note what you have to write. Ventricles have much thicker wall than the atria because it need to pump the blood, and this pump need is so much pressure is generated that the blood flows from the brain to the toe. This pumping capacity of the heart is depended by the thickness of the ventricular wall. If the ventricular wall is thickened more, then the pumping will come less. If the ventricular wall is narrowed, the pumping will again become less. So there must be a pre-calculated thickness of the ventricular wall. And in case of any hypertension patient, we see that the ventricular wall is thickened more than the calculated figure. So in that case, it comes to become a pulmonary hypertension. Pulmonary hypertension is such type of problem where you see in a road, if a traffic jam occurs, the backflow of the traffic increases by the time. So in case the left ventricle doesn't pump the blood of 70 ml per beat, that is the stroke volume of the ventricle. If it doesn't pump out 70 ml approx per beat, then what happens? If it pumps about 50 ml per beat, the 20 ml remains in the left ventricle. Okay, it is carry forwarded. So in case the blood which is coming from the right atrium doesn't get totally get full in the left ventricle, because in the previous bit there is 20 ml already remaining, so the 50 ml from the right ventricle comes to right auricle. From the 50 ml from the right auricle comes to the left ventricle. Okay, so there also becomes a traffic jam. So following the traffic jam goes up to the lungs. So when the pulmonary vein is too much filled with the blood, the excess capacity of the blood, it ultimately loses the elasticity of this. So what happens? The pulmonary hypertension occurs. Hypertension means the pressure of the pulmonary pressure inside the pulmonary vein increases. As you know, if the blood is not flowing in a normal rate, there comes to be an edema. So in this case, a chronic pulmonary hypertensive patient generally produces pulmonary edema. Okay, there are many more reasons of the pulmonary edema, but pulmonary hypertension is one of the reasons for pulmonary edema. Okay, so ventricle have much thicker wall with respect to atria. Left ventricle has thicker wall than the right ventricle. It came in Neet, probably 21. Neet 2021. So it because the left ventricle has to supply the blood to the whole body, because left ventricle needs to supply blood to the whole body. Okay, now valves ensures unidirectional flow of blood. So valve prevents the backflow of the blood, So AV valve, that is atrioventricular valve, that is the bicuspid and the tricuspid valve. Atrioventricular valve is between right auricle and right ventricle, between left auricle and left ventricle. This is right auricle and right ventricle is tricuspid. Between the left auricle and left ventricle is bicuspid. Bicuspid, there are two cusps. Tricuspid, there are three cusps. I will try to give a video of angiography. Then you can see this valve or the valve replacement OT. If I get the video from the cath lab, I will try to give that video. Okay, you can see the valve there. Conducting system of the heart. So heart has some conducting system. So give it a heading: conducting system of heart. So human heart lies in the myocardium. Is made up of myocardium muscle. Okay, that is the cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle fiber. Now, most of these muscle fibers are normal, but a few of these fibers are nodal tissue. Okay, nodal tissue. These are of specialized because these are auto-excitable. These nodal tissues are auto-excitable. Okay, now I am drawing another picture: polarization. I will discuss it in the next video, polarization, but I am drawing the picture right now. Okay. Okay. So nodal tissue is auto-excitable as no external stimuli is needed to generate the action potential of the nodal tissue. Okay. So nodal tissues are auto-excitable as no external stimulus is needed for generation of action potential oblique impulse. Okay. Now polarized oblique resting state contains the nodal tissue cells negative inside and positive outside. And depolarized cell, what does a depolarized state? What is the depolarized state? Inside is positive, outside is negative, just the opposite. Action leads to action potential. The depolarized state actually leads to action potential. Actually leads to action potential. That is the response. Okay. In the next day, I will start from here and we'll continue to the cardiac cycle. Okay. So go through this lecture and go through this video. If you find any difficulties in this video, do write in the comment. I will definitely try to eradicate that. Thank you, and please subscribe this channel and share it with your friends, those who are giving NEET, and please share this channel to the underprivileged students who doesn't have the money to get premium lectures, premium subscriptions. I will also give some DPPs and the question papers. Okay. Let the channel grow. I will also start a website for the entrance exam, which will also be completely free. Okay, thank you. Please watch our next video. Stay tuned.